Hey, loves, welcome to The Quick Tip.
I'm your host, DeJada.
And I'm Camesha, and we are a part of the team at Sister Afia Community Mental Wellness in Chicago. The Quick Tip is a podcast where we discuss relatable topics in Black women's mental wellness.
We provide thoughtful reflections, quick tips, and leave you with some things to take action on to improve your mental wellness.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. Welcome back to the Quick Tip Podcast. We are continuing our social support series. And today we're going to be talking about how to socialize through hobbies. So, Jada, I would love to know what were some of your favorite hobbies as a child?
Some of my favorite hobbies consisted of being outside unsupervised because I just get to run around a block with my cousin and my neighbors. I also took roller skating lessons. My mom forced me into a lot of things as a kid. Kids have to stay busy, so I can't say forced, but, it was definitely things a regular child would like, "I don't wanna go to camp." But one thing I enjoyed that she put me in was roller skating, and I took skating lessons every week, and it's just something about going around in a circle and feeling this wind hit you. Skating just always feels so good. And then I also played basketball. I played a lot of sports, but basketball was the main sport that I played, and I really enjoy basketball because I made a lot of friends. When I started out playing basketball, I wasn't good at all, so I would be a bench player. I started playing basketball at 8, and I was sitting on the bench until I was, 10, and I would just hang out with the other bench players, and I really enjoyed that. How about you, Kamisha? What did you do a lot as a child or as hobbies?
Wow, a lot of hobbies. I also played basketball, but I was a bench warmer. I should have been the team mascot, honestly. I didn't do I didn't do anything else. So I ran track and field, and I was actually pretty decent and I enjoyed it. Also, my mom had me and my siblings very involved in church. So we was in dance ministry, in the choir, on the usher board, going to like the youth lock-ins, all that type of stuff. Um, and those were like some of like, and all those things kept us busy. And also just honestly like playing outside, playing with Barbies. I used to be a real big Barbie person. So like playing with Barbie's imagination. I used to, oh my gosh, we were outside all the time, like riding bikes, running down the street. Like when Pocahontas came out, I was like, I'm running everywhere without no shoes on. And just really having and playing games outside. Like I remember doing like red light, green light, and like tag, flag football, all of that stuff. And it was so fun. It was so fun. And some of those things I still like today, but those are some of the things that I really, really enjoy in terms of hobbies as as a child.
Did any of them cross over into adulthood?
Yes.
Or what do you do now for hobbies?
So bike riding is one that crossed over. I'm still into sports. Like I don't like running anymore, but I like watching track and field, which it's kind of a niche thing. Like people ain't in it unless you in it. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those.
Baseball.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Some hobbies that cross over. I mean, I haven't made as much effort on it, but I do like to dance. I just haven't really been serious about it in terms of like taking classes. So that is something that I would like to do that would be a crossover. Mm. So I would say those are the things that like crossover for me right now. Mm. What about you?
I would say my hobbies now consist more of like self-care because I have to wear so many hats, or not so many, but it does feel like a lot. and also just, like, becoming, like, I'm still fresh into adulthood, and I'm trying not to be, like, a bill stressor or, like, stressing about keeping my house clean because I grew up and that's what, adults did, like, have plastic on the couch, no shoes when you come in, and I'm trying not to get into that yet. And so I do a lot of my hobbies consist of, like, self-care. So I try to stick to, like, a routine for yoga. Really big on yoga and stretching. I realize it helps my body feel so great. It's a great way to start my day with my mind. Oh, it just feels so good thinking about it. And also taking walks. I'm a big walker, especially in this sun, getting a little tan. I feel like the summertime tan really hits me very well. And then, like, happy hours. Oh, weakness. 'Cause I definitely just, like, having a career at 25 and being a mom at 25 and, like, not staying at home with my parents. I have to, I have to release, yes, I'm releasing and stretching, but, like, just also with my friends and having a good time. So, yeah, my hobbies for the most part look like self-care, even if it's, like, going to an open mic. It just everything that I do right now feels like, "Oh, I need to do this to care for this part of myself or this part of my body." But I guess that's what hobbies are. It's fulfilling something in you or a need or a want, which I haven't looked at it that way before, but yeah, most of my hobbies are in the category of self-care, relaxation. Yeah.
Well,
I would say one thing that I think you know what? I wanna ask you, is there anything that gets in the way of you doing your hobbies?
oh yeah, time, time. Yeah, time is the biggest thing. Like, yeah, it's always time. It's always time because there's like so many different moving things that I'm like doing, in terms of not just with the business, but even other parts of my personal life with family, significant other. And so by the time I do all those things, I'm like, okay, where is the time for me to like do a hobby? So time is probably the biggest thing that gets in the way of like having more time to participate in hobbies and to like meet new people through hobbies. For you, what are some of the things that get in the way, or you've seen other people like what gets in the way of them like pursuing hobbies?
Yeah, I think things that often get in the way of doing things that you wanna do are money, because things be costing too much money to do, like going to the Wonder Museum. I remember you took us there. It's like, I always wanted to go, but it was like $40 per person. And I'm like,
Like, what y'all got going on in
like,
there?
I get a meal
Right?
with a drink. Like, what included? As we talked about in the first episode, loneliness. And I think also just fear. Like, yeah, just being fearful for whatever reason. I think those are things that can often get in the way of people doing things that they like or even trying new things. For me, I will also have to say time. I feel like I never have enough time to do the things that I want to do or spend time with the people I want to spend time with because I just yeah, obligations. Like I definitely wish that there were more than either there was more than 24 hours in a day or just more time to just like how there's allocated time for work, 40 hours a week, that time should be cut, and it should be a nation worldwide thing, matter of fact, that, for 72 hours this time is for relaxation, rest and relaxation, or whatever you wanna do, but you cannot it's against the law to work. It's against the law. It's against the law. It's illegal. Hey, that's what needs to happen. But I know, like, in other countries, the work balance life is different. Is different. I'm like, I think one of my friends said they went to Paris and it was the worst time to go because, like, they don't do work for 6 weeks or something. I could be misunderstood, but I know she was saying that, like, they have this off time or something. But I think yeah, it just needs to be a law that we should spend more time doing things that we like and enjoy. And I think that could be the answer to the public health concern that we talked about in the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like if there was a way where like work didn't take up so much space in our lives, like for sure, like that would make a big difference. Like, do we need to be at work 40 hours a week? But always the biggest thing is money, right? Like we have to live and, have the means to pay for the things that we need to survive. So it's a lot. So I do appreciate like some people kind of fighting back in terms of like, I'm not going to spend all my time at work or I'm going to take my PTO. I'm going to do all these different things so I can like enjoy, really like enjoy my life. Um, so one of the hot topics that we had is these groups for everything. So there are so many black woman groups. I feel like it's for every anything that you want to think about. So some of my favorites are Girl Track. Girl Track is really amazing. They focus on like the health and self-care of black women, but through walking. And so like they're really cool. Um, they've been around for a minute. You got Black Girls Run, Black Girls Jump, you got Travel Noir. Like if you want to travel the world, if that's your hobby with all black people, you could do that. So like I just love all these groups that are popping up or who that have already been existent for like black women to be able to engage in hobbies and build social relationships through hobbies. What are some of like your favorite groups that are out there for women?
Yes. There's this group on Facebook that I'm a part of called Girls Night Out Chicago, and, of course, it sounds like, they do more than Girls Night Out. Sometimes they do like someone will be like, "Hey, I'm hosting a sip of paint at my house this weekend, and I have 5 spaces. Who would like to come?" Or on I wanna start a chat about finding a church home, or it's always different things that are posted in Girls Night Out Chicago. And then there's this other Instagram page that I know called Chicago Girls Who Walk, and every week they take, like, a 3.1-mile walk. I know that's, like, super specific, but they take walks every week. I have not been able to join. It just again, time, it never works out with my schedule, and I've been following this page for, like, a year, and it just never works out with my schedule. Another place that I or a place that I frequent is called Firehouse Community Center. It's on the west side of Chicago, and they host free yoga classes every Saturday for an hour. Black people. It's amazing. It's a black man and a black woman. They're a couple, and they host it at the Firehouse Community Center. And then there's something I just learned about from one of my black friends, Millennium Park summer workouts every Saturday. It started May 27th. I think it goes through the summer. They host about 3 workouts every Saturday morning, Pilates, yoga, and Zumba. And it's free. You just show up with your workout clothes, with your yoga mat. And also Sister Afia.
Hello.
Sister Afia provides all types of classes. I know you all just got your own yoga wellness teacher Amin. And what other things are you offering?
So the wellness classes, we also have had the drum classes, our women's empowerment group. Those are kind of some of the things that we have going on right now that are kind of a little bit more like hobby specific. We've also done retreats before as well. We partner with Centered Collective and have those twice a year. Those aren't as frequent, but all the women who come, they're like, "Can we do this every month?" And I'm like, "I wish, you know." you know, but yeah, so those are some of the things that we have going on that people can participate in. And I know we're talking a lot about Chicago, but your local community center or park district has a lot of things that people can get in to like that are different hobbies that are very affordable costs. So I definitely like love taking advantage of those resources because sometimes there are things in our backyard that we can get into as hobbies that help to really like build those social connections. And for the most part, in most of these groups that I've seen, it's been all love. Like it hasn't been conflict or drama because sometimes that can be a fear for women like, oh, am I going to get along with these other women? Are they going to judge me? All this other different things, but all of these groups that I've been to, I've never seen that type of environment. So I also just want to put that out there that we may think that or come in thinking that, oh, I'm not going to go to these hobbies or these groups because I don't get along with Black women or something's going to happen. But I have rarely seen anything pop off. Like it's usually a lot of positivity, a lot of love, a lot of, just camaraderie. So that's one thing that I also want to dispel about these groups.
I have to agree. I don't think I've any of the hobby or yeah, any other spaces I've been in, like the Facebook groups or even the yoga class, I've never felt like a it's always been like an invited energy. We're here for different reasons, but like we're all in community together still. We're respecting each other in the space. And I feel like that's a fear that keeps people away from doing these things. So definitely leave those fears at the door for sure.
So, our on the couch question, where we have a question that we answer on the podcast from someone in our community. And so, Chris asks, how can I get into a new hobby if I'm living check to check?
I mentioned a lot of free options. A lot of free things that I find are on Eventbrite. It's in every city. You can filter by free events and also Google, like it'll tell you what free events or what's happening in your state, city, neighborhood, and it'll also tell you the price. So definitely look into free resources. And also Groupon. If you live in check to check, I feel like Groupon is a great place to go because they'll be able to offer you like a 5-hour painting class, an hour a week for a big discounted price. Definitely look into that. Do you have any advice, Kamisha?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I definitely agree with Eventbrite. Also, one thing that I found is like sometimes if you go to a coffee shop or some place where there's like a lot of people that pass through, you'll see flyers like all over the place of different things that you can get plugged into. So I definitely recommend like checking out some places that have like a high volume of people that come in and out. And like there'll be bulletin boards where there are things that a lot of them are affordable that I've seen that you can do or get plugged into. And then also just doing hobbies with other people. Like sometimes if you have, a friend or somebody like that that you can go with to an event, y'all may be able to split the cost or something along those lines that can help with managing like the financial piece and looking at your schedule as well. Like there can be events that maybe you maybe not commit to going like to 4 events a month. Maybe it's one event, maybe it's 2 events if you're on a budget so that like you're still able to enjoy, a different activity or a different hobby, but also to not. like overboard. And I know like here in Chicago, summertime shot, you want to go to everything, but it's not possible. And if you go to everything, you will be broke. So so yeah, like I definitely encourage like just seeing what your schedule is like and maybe just trying some things out that stay within your budget.
Yes, I agree with that. Good advice. Good advice, because you will go broke. Yes, with the rates in Chicago. With that, do you have any final quick tips for everyone?
Yes. So if you are looking to socialize through hobbies, I would encourage you to do something you're curious about. So I mentioned, in the first episode, how I did a pottery class, was curious about it, have no experience, was coming in there like a baby. And it was a good experience, right? And now I want to go back and do more. So I think some things that maybe you're curious about, that you've thought about, but you haven't actually taken action on, that could be like a really good starting place for a hobby. And then also, if there is someone that can go with you, like a coworker, a friend, or something like that, like using that sometimes is a boost to help you to get through the hobby. Because there are a lot of people who sign up for stuff and do not come. Right. And so it's like sometimes having that extra person for accountability can like help you to get out there.
Yes, I like I will double on that and say, make a bucket list for every season or every month. Yeah, like, it's fun, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to have 100 things on it. You could have 10 things on it for a month for the month and, like, 6 of those things are free, and one of those things are cooking, and, it could just be something different just so that you are exploring things, and also just figuring out what you like and what you don't like and what works and doesn't work. That's my final quick tip.
Well, I hope you all got some ideas about like how you can socialize through hobbies, just some different ways for you to get out there. Again, this is a part of social support. The more that we're able to explore new things and build new connections, the better we are holistically, but especially with our mental health. So, thank you all for listening to another episode, and we'll catch you next time. Take care and be well. Thank you for tuning in to the Quick Tip Podcast with Sissa Afia. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram and Facebook at Sissa Afia. Join us for one of our upcoming groups, classes, or workshops, and sign up for therapy if you're an Illinois resident at www.sistaafia.com/services. And if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We greatly appreciate you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.